Hey, what's good guys, it's Blake, and today I'm going to show you guys how to flip a sample so hard, make it a whole different vibe to where it's unrecognizable from the original composition. I got this sample from my boy Odyssey. He's super fire. I'll link his channel in the description. And yeah, let's get right into it. So first off, I'm going to play a snippet of the final beat and then I'll get into the breakdown.
Blake the Great?
Starting off with the sample, here are the major things that I do before I even lay drums down. So 1, I reverse, 2, I mess with the pitch, and 3, I mess with the BPM. Those are the 3 big things you can do to really just change the entire vibe of a sample. And for this sample, I did all 3 of those. So for this sample, I reversed it and I chopped it up in the playlist as so. I pitched it up 780 cents and I changed the BPM from 66 and I sped it up to 73. Another thing you can do to manipulate your samples is throw in some effects like reverb, delay. It gives it a lot more texture and makes it just sound better in the mix. It sounds more vibey, which is what I was going for in this beat since it was more of an R&B type of feel. I also threw on a compressor and I pushed the gain up 1.4 decibels. And I took this EQ and I cut majority of the low end out so I can make room for the 808. Here's the original part of the sample that I used. And now here's the sample flipped. As you can see, the vibe just completely changed with the sample. And so yeah, let's get on to the drums. Here's the 808 pattern that I laid down. Since for the hi-hats, as you can see in the ghost notes, and which I'll go over in a second, I went with the triplet bounce quite a bit. As you can see, I'm on the 1/6 grid, which follows the 1/3 grid instead of the cell, because when we go on cell, the notes look a little off from the grid, and it's because they are. It's because they're on the 1/3 grid. I would say the triplet bounce, if you're not in double time, is good between around 60 to 75 BPM. I used the 808 only using the studio with Thug 4, which is in the Wheezy Lunch Kit I got off of Reddit. You can go get that off of, just go on Google, look up Wheezy Lunch Kit, and it's one of the most fire drum kits ever. Basically, all the sounds that I use are from that kit. And I also boosted up the 808 to make it more punchy, and then I pulled the length and out knob about halfway up just to make the 808 shorter. Always throw a soft clipper on your master to make sure your 808s can hit as hard as they can without clipping. And now onto the hi-hats. I also reversed a hi-hat in this pattern. I just used the same hi-hat, but I reversed it and I placed it there, so that will also be playing in this pattern. I usually don't advise doing this for most beats, but because this beat was more of a slow R&B feel, and I wanted to give the drums some more texture, so I threw some reverb on the hi-hat. This is the hi-hat setting I used. I just pulled the wet knob all the way up, the dry knob all the way down. This is the way I shaped it, and I just pulled the reverb down as so in the mix, and honestly I could push it down a little more because the reverb is pretty intense. I use this clap. Here's a cadence snare. And now here's the drums playing all together. If you're looking for a way to just spice up your drums, to make them a little more different, just go to the 1/3 grid and the 1/6 grid, man, I swear. Because it doesn't just go for hi-hats and 808s, because I threw the snare on the 1/3 grid as well, and it just gives the beat a whole different cadence. Mixing wise, I really just leveled out the drums by ear, and I didn't really have to level them too drastically. And yeah guys, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
Blake the Great?